Hi guys, and welcome to my best books of 2017. I have narrowed down 17 books out of all of the ones that I've read this year to bring you guys the ones that I thought were the best and that I enjoyed the most. First up is Strange Practice by Vivian Shaw. Dr. Greta Van Helsing treats all of the undead of London, but when a murderous cult of monks start, murdering people, she ends up getting drawn into it and having to solve the mystery. It hooked me in straight away. It was fun, it was different, it was entertaining, there were fantastic and memorable characters. Greta is intelligent and you can root for her, and I found it to be a really refreshing read. Pretty much ended up binge reading this in one go because I got drawn in by the mystery and everything. Hes Waking Land by Callie Bates. Alanna is accused of the murder of the king who took her in and treated her like his own daughter. Turns out that Alanna must lead the rebellion. I really loved the storytelling and the writing style, and I loved all the history and the lore and the legends that were thrown throughout this book. Empathised with Alanna, I really did. I might have wanted to smack her once or twice, but I did really empathise with her. There is romance, there's action, there's magic, and it is literally such a cracking read. Blackwing by Ed McDonald. I really loved this. It was one of the fantasy books that I got to review this year. The book is so good. I actually asked Ed how to say his name, so it's going to be awkward if I say it wrong. Blackwing follows Ryholt. He is a bounty hunter and he is searching for a mysterious noblewoman, and poor old Ryholt gets kind of, the Deep King's attack, and poor Ryholt's there in the middle of it, and it's kind of not his ideal situation. There is a completely brilliant cast, and it is really richly, brilliantly written, so well written, really vivid and really cinematic. It really drew me in. The real world completely faded away, and I got completely lost in the book, and I kind of, read most of it in one go and then kind of looked up and around. There's no sunlight anymore, it's dark. And I've been reading for however many hours and I've completely lost track of time and I have no idea what's happening or who I am anymore. Battle Madge by Taran Matharu. Probably said it wrong and completely murdered it. I'm really sorry, Taran. This is the final book in the Summoner series. Completely and utterly loved the Summoner series. It's one of my favourites. It's imaginative, it's original, it's so much fun. It's full of action and adventure, it's got magic. There's kind of a Hogwarts vibe and a Pokemon vibe. Cliffhanger from book 2 completely ruined my life, genuinely, because I was completely, for like a week afterwards, I couldn't read anything else, and I just thought about it all the time because I had to know what happened next, and this was long awaited and it did not disappoint. I could not be more happy with how things turned out. Final battle is here. It's all or nothing. Everything's going down, and this was literally such a brilliant conclusion to the series. Everything was wrapped up so well. I literally have no problems with this book whatsoever. It's just so good. Flame in the Mist by Rennie Ade. Mariko, who is off to meet her betrothed, who she's not chosen to marry, but she's not exactly psyched about it. When the notorious Black Clan attack her convoy, she manages to escape. She's the only survivor and she starts to plot her revenge. Mariko pretends to be a boy and soon manages to hunt down the Black Clan, finding herself amongst them. Really loved this. I completely devoured it. I read it in one go. I couldn't put it down. I desperately need book 2 because I want to know what happens next. Mariko is an intelligent and strong character and I really loved her and I related to her and I empathised with her and I rooted for her. She's one of my favourite characters now. Storytelling is decadent and brilliant, and it draws you in. It's vivid. Literally the apocalypse could have happened and I would have had no idea whatsoever. It was that good. Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. We need to talk about Lord of Shadows because it completely and utterly broke me and broke my heart, and I have been a broken shell of myself since I finished reading this and reading the last page. That ending happens and now I have to wait until 2019 to find out what happens next. I think the fuck not. Like, seriously, why are you doing this to me, Cassie? Why? It's just cruel and unusual. I have been reading your books since I was a very young teenager and you do this to me. Like, yes, look at the fancy nice edition, but it doesn't make up for the heartbreak. This is the second book in the Dark Artificers trilogy. It follows Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne, and they're at the Los Angeles Institute. Clary and Jace do pop in a lot. Malik and Agnes, I wanted to say Malik, okay. This book in particular does have a nice amount of Clary and Jace and Alec and Magnus. Yes. You guys have no idea how long I've been trying to say that sentence. It's a really good second instalment. It is so easy to sit and just read this and read this and read this. I end up having to read it in more than one sitting because it's huge. Really enjoyed the fact that we got to see more of the support characters like Christina. More plot threads brought in, we get some questions answered, but there are more plot threads woven into the plot of this one, making the plot more complex, more rich, and genuinely leaving me screaming and wanting to pull my hair out because I have so many questions and so many things I need to know, but I still don't know. I'm still waiting. Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levinseller. I love pirates. There are not enough pirate books in the world, so when I saw this coming out I knew I had to have it, and I completely loved it. I read it in one sitting. It was so good. So good. I loved it and I cannot wait for the second book. It is about 17-year-old pirate Captain Alosa who has to infiltrate the enemy pirate ship, so she allows herself to be captured because she is looking for an ancient map that leads to a legendary treasure. This book was everything I hoped for when I picked it up. I was not disappointed at all. I literally read it in one sitting. I was thoroughly entertained. I was left wanting more. There is a completely brilliant plot twist when it comes to Alosa that I kind of didn't see coming. I was trying to work out what the deal was with her, and then I was completely blown away by it, which has made me even more excited for book 2 to see how it's going to play out. Action-packed, it's funny, it's authentic too. Chemistry between Alosa and Raiden came off the page. I loved it. I love their interactions. I totally ship them. I need for it to happen. I need it. Still have plenty of questions that I'm hoping will get answered in the next book, but this is literally such a good bingeable read. Gilded Cage by Vic James. In modern day Britain, the magic users are in charge, and if you do not have magic and are not one of these magic users, you owe the magic users 10 years of your life. The Hadleys elect to do their days together all at once as a family, which is all well and great as they all head off to the estate of the Jardine family to work for them, except for their son Luke, who ends up being separated from his family and sent to work in one of the factory towns, which are tough, grim, and all around not a good time. Completely love Gilded Cage. It was something different. It really pulled me in. The plot's complex. There's so many plot threads. The characters are interesting too, and there's so much to them. With Cillian and Gavar, I want to love the both of them. I'm looking for a reason, and Tarnished City gave me a reason for Gavar. I'm still waiting on Cillian, but I am hopeful that he will at least give me one reason. Just something small at this stage. Brilliantly written, it's completely engrossing, it is vivid, it's authentic. I love the way history has been tweaked with and played around with to create the world of this book, and I really enjoy reading about the history. The ending leaves you wanting more, but luckily Tarnished City was out this year too, which is the sequel, and it was such a good sequel. It gave me the reason I needed to love Gavar, and he got his own little badass moment at the end. It fleshed out more of the plot, added more to the world, more to the characters. It's kind of upped the game and it's changed the stakes, and it's definitely going to be really interesting to see how it all wraps up. The Last Namsara. I ended up binge reading this in one go. Asha, our main character, is one of the most feared and fiercest dragon slayers in the world of the book. She ends up taking on the role of the next Ascari, who is basically a child of death. The Ascari is not associated with anything good. She kills dragons for the king, and she is betrothed to the commandant, who's kind of an asshole, and I really don't like him, and I have nothing nice to say about him, I'm not gonna lie. She is given a way out. All she has to do in exchange for her freedom is hand over the head of the most powerful dragon in the world of the book. I love dragons. I love dragons so much. I freaking love dragons. I love any book with dragons in. If it has dragons in, I will read it just because dragons, and I was not let down by this book at all. Tales in between each chapter which kind of relate to the history of the world. So you kind of get all these stories that are like legends and part of the history of the world that really enrich the world of the book and help to bring it to life. Keep wanting to know what happens next. The dragons are so well done. I loved how the dragons were done. The plot twists will completely blow your mind, because some of them completely blew my mind, and I was staring at the page like, what just happened? Asha is a little bit prejudiced in the beginning, and you do want to shake her a bit, but she has some fantastic character development over the course of the book, and she's a character you can really root for and get behind, and you want her to do the right thing and you want her to succeed. A cracking pace, there's action, there's adventure, there's romance, there's dragons. There are dragons. I will keep saying dragons because dragons are the best. There are also hints of betrayal too, and there is a character that you literally hate so much. I kind of hesitate to say love to hate, but I do really love hating on him. The commandant is such an arsehole. Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foodie. Had my eye on Daughter daughter of the burning city since this time last year. Serena lives in Gomorrah, which is a travelling circus festival. She is the only illusion worker born in hundreds of years, and she creates these illusions. Each of her illusions have their own personalities. They have very vivid personalities. Serena and her illusions make up the freak show. Family, life is good, and then her illusions start to be murdered one by one, which is kind of, quite frankly, heartbreaking to read about because I really felt for her. This book has so many plot twists and surprises. It kept me on my toes. You can feel the tension and the danger. It's palpable. You can practically feel it coming off the page. It's original, it's dark, it's evocative, such a vivid setting. I felt like I was there. This book kind of really had the perfect ending, although I am hoping that there might be another book. I guess the plot twist can't be beaten because there was a pretty mind-blowing plot twist that had me like, what just happened? Excuse me, I'm sorry, what? Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This book is two of the things I love most in the world. Leigh Bardugo and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is literally my favourite DC character aside from Harley Quinn. In Wonder Woman Warbringer, Diana is desperate to prove herself. She risks exile from the island when she decides to save a mortal and dooms the world in the process. Oops. Aaliyah is being hunted. She is a warbringer and a descendant of Helen of Troy, and Diana and Aaliyah must work together to save the world. I completely love this. I love the whole being descended from Helen of Troy thing. I love the diverse cast. I love Diana. She's desperate to prove herself. I could really relate to her. I love the interactions between Diana and Aaliyah. They cracked me up. They were both great main characters. They were so much fun. There were so many brilliant Wonder Woman like tidbits and Easter eggs thrown in throughout the narrative that I was perpetually squealing and fangirling as I was reading it. So well written, as is to be expected of Leigh, and I just loved how she wrote the characters. I loved the story, I loved the plot, I loved how it fit with Wonder Woman and Diana and the Wonder Woman mythology so brilliantly. There is action, there's feels, there's smidges of romance, and oh my god, the betrayal. The betrayal in this book is literally, it left me sitting there like it was the plot twist of all plot twists, the reveal of all reveals, and it literally left me sitting there staring at the page like, I'm sorry Leigh, what did you just say? That can't say what I think it does because that would be completely insane and would literally be the cruelest thing ever. But no, Leigh really went there. Fashion Quill by Rachel Kane. This is the third book in a series, and I had to include it because this is the book that really steps up the game and really kicks the plot into high gear. Jess and his friends have fled from London and they are in Philadelphia with the Burners against their will, and the only thing they have to bargain with is Thomas's invention, which the library really do not want to exist. It's fast-paced, it's action-packed. The world of this series is so rich, so vivid. Writing is also really rich. The plot's complex and intricate. There's all these different plot threads. Jess has a devious plan throughout this entire book, and I so wanted to know what it was. I was trying to put it together, and I really didn't see it coming, and then the ending of this book happens, and I was just like, what? And now I have to wait for the next book. The Savage Dawn by Melissa Gray. This is the third and final book in a trilogy, and I had to include it because although it broke my heart, it is a really good final book, and I'm sad to see this series end. It's the book where the war that's been brewing throughout the entire series finally kicks off. Echo is kind of doubting herself, and she's got to face off against Tanith. Tanith's out to destroy everyone because she's Tanith. Echo's plagued by doubt, and I really love watching her overcome it and get back to herself and carry on fighting in this book. My poor shipper heart that was all soft and fluffy was ripped out and destroyed by this book. It was action-packed and fast-paced. It was just as original and imaginative as the other books in the series. Echo has come so far. Although I'm still emotionally traumatised by it, it is the ending that this series deserves. Invictus by Ryan Groudon. Oh boy. Invictus is about Farway, who is born out of time, and he epically fails his time travelling exam, so he does the only logical thing that there is to do, and he turns to the smuggler's life to travel through time, like he's always dreamed of. I would root for that. If I was given the opportunity to travel through time and the only way I could do it was to be a smuggler, I would do it too, I'm not gonna lie. I have no issues with Farway and his life choices. They basically travel through time, go into the past to steal and loot valuables from various historical situations. However, during a heist on the Titanic, a mysterious girl shows up and throws everything into chaos for them. I have found it, you guys. In this book, I have found the fictional world that I most want to live in. I would sell a kidney to live in this world. I would sell any body part or internal organ to live in this world because I am a huge history nerd and I would literally kill to be able to travel through time and go to various different parts of history. But I will settle for this book to allow me to do that anyway. I was literally in heaven reading this book. It was literally like the best book ever for me, and it has become one of my ultimate all-time favourites. It was fast-paced, there was action, so much research has clearly gone into this book and I really applaud it. The storytelling was fantastic. There were some amazing plot twists that I didn't see coming. The time travel aspect and the science behind it and the different timelines were all done so well. This book is genuinely genius. Cinematic, it's vivid, it's authentic, the characters were so brilliant and memorable, and there was so much history, and oh my god, I just loved it so much. The Titanic, the Library of Alexandria, the Romans, oh my god. I really wish that this would be a series because I would love to see more of Farway and his adventures. If you like history, you should check this out. Warcross by Marie Lu. In Warcross there is a game called Warcross. We follow Amika, who is a bounty hunter, and she has to track down people who are illegally betting on Warcross. She's really struggling to survive and she's desperate when we meet her at the beginning of the book. She needs cash, she needs to make ends meet, which is something a lot of us can relate to, so I can't fault her for anything she does. Amika decides she's going to hack the opening game of the International Warcross Championship. She accidentally glitches herself into the midst of the action and she becomes an overnight sensation, and she's expecting all this bad stuff to happen. Wasn't expecting to be hunted down by Hideo, the creator of the game himself, and she's given an opportunity that she cannot refuse. Warcross, Warcross, look. Is Rainbow. This is my first Marie Lu book. I keep meaning to check out her other books, but I've just never gotten around to it, and then I got the opportunity to review this and I couldn't say no because I was intrigued by the book and I liked the sound of it. And it also sounded really like Sword Art Online without the whole dying in the game, dying in real life thing. Really liked all of the explanations for the game tech and how it worked. You could understand it without it taking up too much time and being overly confusing. And it was very like Sword Art Online in that aspect, and the world kind of reminded me of Sword Art Online too. It's a great pace. This book is definitely bingeable. The world of this book is scarily believable. I could see it happening in like 5-10 years. Gaming aspects were fun and well written, and they were relatable for any gamer out there like myself. Sign me up. Hunting Prince Dracula by Kerry Maniscalco. This is the sequel to Stalking Jack the Ripper, one of my favourite books from last year. In this, Audrey Rose and Thomas are heading to Romania to attend one of the best schools in Europe for forensic medicine. They're heading to Vlad's house, basically. Audrey's trying her best to fit in and do her best and learn all she can, but then the murders start and she's compelled to investigate. This is a brilliant sequel. It continues on smoothly. It has everything I love. Rich, vivid writing. It's authentic. It's creepy. The history is so well done. Little tidbits scattered throughout, so it creates an authentic world and sucks you in. Audrey Rose is relatable. She's easy to empathise with, even more so in this book, because you know everything she's been through and you can see where she's coming from. She is being shown so realistically to still be struggling with everything that happened. There is a dark and vivid setting, suspense, so much suspense and tension, and it has you on the edge of your seat. There's some brilliant plot twists to this one too. There's even some romance. My ship is sailing and I could not be happier. There is a completely brilliant mystery that keeps you guessing, and I completely loved it, and it literally sucked me in so much. And the title for book 3 has just been announced, and there's going to be a 4th and final book, and all is right in my world. Royal Bastards by Andrew Schwartz. A feast honouring the visiting princess Liriana. She shocks everyone by sitting at the bastards table with Tilla and her fellow bastards. Next thing Tilla knows, they're going on a late night escapade. They're discovering something they really shouldn't, and they are fleeing for their lives from the mercenaries their parents have sent to kill them. Tilla and her friends must get to the king to warn him of the coming coup if they can survive. Royal Bastards is definitely a wild ride, I have to say that. Characters develop over the course of the book. Like, Liriana bugged me a lot in the beginning, but I ended up really liking her. She has some great character development, so do the other characters. Tilla is relatable, the world is interesting, it's vivid. It hit me right in the feels more than once. It's a nice blend of action, adventure, fantasy, magic, and even a little bit of romance. There was a huge shock betrayal that I didn't see coming and I really should have seen coming, but it completely blew me away and I really enjoyed it. Honourable mentions are Dark Days Pact, which I really loved. It was a brilliant sequel and I wish I could have squeezed it in, but I tried not to do too many second or thirds or whatever in series, along with The Lost Plot by Genevieve Cogman and Wind Witch 2 by Susan Dennard. If you've read any of the books, let me know down below. Let me know what your favourite books of 2017 were. I will see you guys soon.
Yeah.